YouTube. How are you doing today? Let me share a few words of wisdom that I found with dealing with toxic people. Okay, so one thing that I have learned in life is that when we are younger, we are very closed-minded. We are linear with our understandings. We are just really thinking for the moment, not necessarily reflecting on our futures as much as we should. And there are times where we are just really wanting to mature. We investing in our education, we reading more, we're exercising more. We have this mindset that yes, I want to become something great. Everything is going fantastic in your life at that point. You are, achieving, you are succeeding in everything you do. You feel like you got that glitter, like you like, hey, what's going on, Frankie? Thank you for joining my live. You are super excited, right? And then what happened? Boom! The bottom fall out. Why does the bottom fall out? Because you meet a toxic person. Individual who presents to be like the answer to your prayers. For men, it's that woman you always dreamed of. She's so sweet, so wonderful, so blah blah blah. The man, the women, for the women, it's the man who was just amazing. He answered every prayer. He was just so protective, so loving. And one thing you say when you dealt with a toxic person is they were not consistently that person, that wonderful person. They were that way for a specific period of time, but basically, it was always some dramatic event that came up that prevented them from consistently performing the way they needed to perform. And I always say, thank goodness for the experience of dealing with a toxic person, because dealing with a toxic person teaches you a lot about yourself, right? Your shortcomings and your strengths. For example, I dealt with a toxic person, and if I would think about some of my actions, I was very defensive. I became hyper defensive, right? I was already waiting for that opportunity for the preemptive, the preemptive strike of, okay, well, let me just get braced. Let me brace myself because this individual is going to lie, or this individual is going to manipulate, or being hypersensitive to everything, right? And then very combative, like I'm a fighter in the sense of like no weapon formed against me will prosper. So my mother didn't raise a punk. Okay, she prepared me and equipped me to stand up for myself, to advocate for myself, and don't let anybody try to minimize your worth. Give yourself an opportunity to learn and grow, but don't let nobody try to minimize who you are. And so when I got in a relationship with a toxic person, I'm talking about, I'm reflecting on my actions being so negative based off of my interactions with this individual. The person was very accusatory, think about, accusatory, you doing this, and it's like, no, you doing that, you're projecting on me what you're doing, and then I'm trying to defend myself, and then it's like, well, this is what you do. And the focus was always on my reaction to the individual. If you love me, I'm going through, you shouldn't react this way. Okay, right. And me being such a compassionate, empathetic person, I was always trying to morph and always trying to change and to be better. If he said, can you jump 10 feet? I was jumping 20. If he said, go to sleep, I was going to sleep for days. Whatever he asked me to do, I was transforming, because I said, this is what you do. You're in love. We're married. This is what we do. And it was just so toxic. But I remember every day I was just miserable. My spirit was miserable. Everything was miserable. And I thought the most happiest I was when I was not conforming to the toxic behavior of the individual. A toxic person in my life because yes, deep within. Come on, that's what I'm getting to. For me, I was conforming so much that I lost who I was as an individual, right? I lost who I was. But then I realized the peace that I had at times when I was dealing with that individual was basically when I lowered my expectations and my mindset of that individual. Like, I would say I was married, but in my mind I was like, I can't, you're not dependable, you're inconsistent, you're emotionally unstable, you're emotionally reckless. Like, those were your actions. You can't say I love you and then your actions display how much hatred you have towards somebody. And then you're wondering, why? I've not done anything but try to love you. Everything that you fell in love with, this is who I am. I have not changed. And I realized that person had changed. And I did change to the degree of being so defensive, so emotionally broken and sad. Like, I was a walking depressive person, and I'm normally happy and smiling. I look at some of my photographs, all you see is deadness in my eyes. Like, it was just, I was so completely dead. And it's funny how when I thought about that, when I was in it, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing. And no matter when I tried to leave or end the situation, it was always the threat of, I'm gonna kill myself. I need you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then I will fall for the trying to rescue that person once again, right? Hold on a second, guys. I'm trying to go through this. Then I went through the trying to rescue that person again, denying how I felt, right? Denying how I felt, but more trying to cater to that person's needs. Now, when I got delivered, because literally I was delivered, mentally, but physically I needed to get out of that situation, and I knew the situation would end up in something very harmful, and I was like, it wasn't gonna be me. So I'm just saying that. And I said, Lord, protect me, because you know me, it's not gonna be me. I got kids to raise. I'm gonna fight to the death. If I'm limp, blind, or whatever, I'm gonna fight to the death. And I remember my prayer was like, Lord, let this person just leave on their own accord, even though they threatened to leave all the time. Like, basically, the toxic individual I was a habitual liar, serial cheater. Every time they got a new attention from a new woman, they were leaving their wife and their kid. Like, it was just drama all the time. It was like drama. And so, and even then, that person would never be like, it would be, oh, I was stressed, that's why I did that. Oh, I was this. And I said, toxic people never take accountability for their actions. They never take accountability for their actions. They always have somebody to blame, whether it was their parents, whether it was the school, when they were younger, whether it was the bullies, whether it was, the pastor. They never take accountability for themselves. Their exes, if this would happen because of my ex. Like, okay, well, what was your role and responsibility? And so when this individual for the last time left and didn't even have a clue that it was after a prayer I had, all I could say was okay. And this person got so angry. Okay, you're gonna be begging for me to come back. You ain't nothing but this, you ain't nothing but that. And I just said, okay. It was the night I had so much peace, because what I realized, the power to control all of the situation dealing with that person was really within me. Like, I had the strategy to get out of the situation. I just did not have the courage. I didn't have the courage at that time. And you got to think about too what religion plays in that as well, because that religion was a big part for me, and that I didn't have the courage. But I said, coming out of dealing with that, I would not change my life in that experience at all. And this is a challenge when you're dealing with a toxic person, because if you're not careful, you will start morphing into that person. I would think like, I'm happy. Why am I sad all the time? Why am I angry all the time? Why do I have, this feelings of insecurity? I've always been, there are certain things I can change about myself. But for the most part, I believe that I'm an amazing person, that God has blessed on this earth to do some amazing things. And I am living that purpose every day in my life. Whether I'm walking in the store, whether I'm driving down the road, I am walking in purpose, right? And so that has always been my mentality as forever, right? And that was my mentality before I met that person. But when I got in a relationship with that person, if not every day, every other day, would tear me down constantly. Oh, you think you all this? I could be in the mirror just putting on makeup. Why are you putting on makeup? You just always want some attention. It's like, leave me alone. I could be sitting reading a book. You read too much. It's like, leave me, just picking. Toxic people always pick. They got to pick. Like, this is their petty game. Like, that's that self-esteem they want to tear you down. First of all, when you are secure and whole in yourself, you can celebrate other people, right? And so coming out of that situation, and for me, it's been like 8 or 9 years now, like, I'm not in that relationship, you know, and I said, what? First of all, I tried to understand how I got in that situation. And for me, I always say I was primed for the picking, because I grew up with my mother to the age of 13, and, you know, then with my father from 13 to 16. After 16, I was on my own. And so basically, I had been going through life, really learning a lot. Oh, hey, Frankie, right. I have been learning a lot. Oh, that's Jess. Okay. I have been learning a lot of, you know, I had a great deal of responsibility, but a lot of my naivete was still in my mindset, y'all. Meaning, like, I always, you know, saw the best in everything. I mean, I saw the best in a cockroach, okay? And meaning, like, a cockroach has its purposes, right? I saw the best in everything. You know, I was that person that could get along with everybody, because I was just like, you know, I just see the best in everybody. So dealing with a toxic person, and for me, it was great because it was a religious component as well, which helped me to see how people can use religion. You said best in the cockroach. I'm telling you, like, you know, the cockroach served its purpose. I had such a very naive, sheltered mindset, even though I went through a lot of things that developed my street savviness. I still was very socially, I was very underdeveloped. I'm talking about, like, I just believe what people said. Like, you know, if you said, you know, I fly to the moon, I would say, well, do you think you fly to the moon? Well, if you think you fly to the moon, hey, you fly to the moon. There's no, like, I wasn't invested in conversations. I've never felt comfortable questioning people, because I wasn't raised to question anybody. I was raised to, my mother was schizophrenic, so you could never question her, because that will, you know, enhance an episode with schizophrenia. So, you know, it's like, you don't trust me. You're like, oh Lord, I don't even want to ask. And so in relationships or dating, you know, I did those things, right? I was very, and I never forget the toxic person. This is the thing that's so crazy. What attracted me to him was the fact he was so dang on controlling. I said, oh my God, this is me. I said, this man is so concerned about me. You know, he's trying to find out, you know, my schedules. He's calling, checking on me. He's showing up to places, bringing me flowers, you know, doing all these wonderful things. I think for Valentine's Day, he brought me a brand new car. I'm like, this man loves me. He is so special. I could care less about anything else. And then when I think about all of the self-serving motives, because it was, to me, and I don't even know if this individual knows their struggles or whatever. I really don't care. Lord, just pray for them, bless on them, leave me alone. Please just set me free. But I realized that I had to go through that experience, because in my mind, I was still naive in believing that, you know, people in church behave a certain way. People in church behave a certain way. People in church behave a certain way. People in, you know, if you're in a marriage, you know, you're supposed to behave a certain way. You know, people wouldn't just go out and lie and manipulate and da-da-da-da. Even though I've seen certain things, I always said, well, those people did those certain things because they had these type of issues. Well, no, when you in church and you trying to better your life, you know, the word is just going to, you know, resonate in your mind, because that means nothing if a person is not in taking it, receiving it, if they don't want to become a better person. So I was like, I remember in it, I kept saying, Lord, I felt like I was going to die. I said, I'm going to die. I mean, you guys don't know, like, but I developed a heart condition. I had heart surgery. And let me tell you the griminess of the demon that was in the individual I was in a relationship with. The night before heart surgery, I'm supposed to be preparing for heart surgery, getting my mind set. I'm about to be in this hospital. You know, I don't know if I'm going to lose my life. I just fear. But this person said, within his toxicness, the night before heart surgery, I'm leaving you again. He found another woman, and I'm tired of you. The only reason I came back because the pastor said I should be back. Like, the mindset of an individual that would do that the night before somebody was having heart surgery, and then says the only reason I'm taking you to the surgery is because we're still legally married. You got my 2 older children watching this entire episode. Okay? And don't expect me to do anything for those kids when I'm out of this house, because those are not my kids. In my children's face, okay? I'm saying this, and I'm supposed to be preparing for heart surgery. Now, I'm saying that to say, like, I can smile about it now. Definitely at that time, I was devastated and heartbroken. But of course, being in a toxic situation, you're trying to defend yourself. You're trying to, I'm strong, I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah, blah. It's like, no, you break in and you're breaking every day, okay? And so I would think about, like, the stories and the experiences. I said, you know, what helped me get to it? I said, this part, very much so. He was possessed. That's what it was. I said, you know, it has to be a very, very unhappy individual. And then I started trying to analyze and come to that point of, when did they get disgruntled, right? I'm gonna read yours in a second. When did they become so disgruntled? And you start thinking about that dating season, and you're like, oh my God, I remember when they did X, Y, and Z. I remember when all of this, a part of their toxicness, it was always there. And because of my naiveness dealing with people, I want to trust people. I'm like, well, you're doing all these things. You must do love me. You must do blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you have to say, you know what? Who is this individual? Who is this individual? Like, who were they before they met you? Toxic. Who are they after you? Toxic, right? And you know they're toxic because their mindset, everything they say is out of anger. They always gotta be the victim in everything they do. Even when they apologize, it always come back with a but. It's never a, I was horrible, I needed help, I still need help. No, it's, well, you, it's like, when my stuff, I own me. My own me is, I was very naive. I didn't have a covering. Even when I was in church, I did not have a spiritual covering. And I'm talking about a spiritual covering that's not judgmental, that can, people that know your name, that's not calling you another person's name, that's not trying to make people think there's some way in public, and then behind closed doors you saying a different thing. And I'm saying it to say that was a time for me that was very hurtful, because I'm like, no, that I'm like an elephant. I would have remembered that. Now, if you had something to say, or instead of attacking me because the situation didn't work out, why don't you say, you know what? Just a mess. It was just a mess. It just wasn't right. But, and then I think about, let me tell you guys, when you're in a toxic situation, the worst thing you can do is to try to get people to advocate for you who really don't respect you. And I'm going to say this, respect you or have low expectations for you. Me, my testimony, becoming pregnant at the age of 15, being a teen mom at 16, you know, in the black culture, there's a lot of hypocrisy. Let me say that. There's a lot of people who feel like, I don't deserve to have any blessings because I'm unclean, right? I've lived a sinful life or whatever. Never do they, rarely, let me not use an absolute. Rarely do they try to understand and say, you know what? This young woman seems to be awesome in some areas, and I see she struggled in some areas. None of us is perfect. Let me help love her to life. No, you want to sit there and say, well, let me dig on you. Okay, she divorced. She was a teen mom. She has 2 children, and now she's with somebody else. That situation did not come. Oh, she's the fault. She's the problem. Instead of saying, you know what? Maybe she needed some covering. Maybe she needs to say, baby, I know you got a big heart, but you can't take on all projects. You can't. No, it's rarely that understanding. That's why when I minister to people, I'm coming from a place of honesty and love and saying, look, we all have fallen short. Don't sit in that fall. Get up out that valley, because that valley is meant to teach you. Even, you know, my message dealing with a toxic person. When I was dealing in that situation, I thought, God, you know, do you hear me? Do you see me? Like, I'm trying to cry out. Like, y'all could blow on me and I would cry. Like, I was so hurt. It was so much hurt, and I wanted somebody to see. I was trying to be strong for my children, trying to be strong in my job, trying to be strong here, strong there, and it's like nobody was taking care of me. Nobody. And I feel like the only way that God got my attention was when I developed that heart condition, because it was like it came out of nowhere. They don't even know how it developed, why it developed or anything. And I said that was God trying to get my attention to say, because just like my cardiologist said, the heart is the only organ that wants to stop you dead. And, this is helping me to see, I know, right, Jess? Because it really impacted me about Kim Porter, okay? And this is why I had to get on here and do this live, because Kim Porter's death just truly impacted me so greatly, because this is a beautiful woman by, beautiful children, a great mother, loved her children, and she died of cardiac arrest. That's what the reports are saying. And me having my own heart challenges, me understanding, that there are toxic people in your life who want to see you dead, and I know people in her family did not want to see her dead, but I'm just saying, dealing with toxic people, their goal is to destroy you. Their goal is not to help you or be a blessing. So any way they can dig and make your life even worse, they will. And I feel like I'm transitioning a little bit, because I'm saying this to say that when we in that situation with toxic people, it feels so suffocating. It feels so overwhelming. It feels so, discouraging. You feel that you are the farthest from God. If you are with an individual, and I'm going to tell you guys this, if you are with an individual that does not bring you closer to the Lord, that is of the devil. I don't give a damn if they are your husband, if they are your wife, if they are your best friend, if they are not helping you to develop a confidence within you that is electrifying, that everybody who comes around you, they just like, I need a little bit of that love. I need that. Where you're not walking love and you're not walking light, that is of the devil. And the devil, it is very true. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He will do that in your life. He will do that by sending people who pretend to be for you against you, and they'll turn on you, right? They'll get close to you and turn on you. And going back to, dealing with toxic people, I thought, man, this was so hard. Why am I going through this? Lord, why did you have me go through this experience? My heart, I have tried to just love everything. I thought, man, it's so funny. My testimony